Mum, can we get some LCD System and Daft Punk? No! We've got LCD System at home. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this new Harry Styles album. Has Harry fallen off a bit? I wasn't really sure what to expect after his previous albums, and especially his album Harry's House, which I kind of enjoyed, to be honest. I mean, it won an album of the year at the Grammys, for God's sake. So expectations weren't that high, but they were higher than what it turned out to be. What we've got here feels way safer and a lot more bland. Yeah. This album feels like Harry wanted to make his own electronic leaning sounding album, except, you know, a bit more horny, maybe. So then why are you using the same producer if you want to pivot into disco and electronic music? I came here expecting, what, some disco grooves, some funky bops, but we're not really getting much of that. Anyway, hello, welcome back. You're with me, Icy Snaps. And yes, you guessed it, we're reviewing Harry Styles' new album, Kiss All the Time, Disco Sometimes. I'm still trying to figure out what that title means. So what we have here is a 40-something minutes of something that sounds somewhat forgettable. But here's the strange thing, I can't bring myself to hate it. It's actually not that bad. It could be worse. It's just a major step down from a lot of his previous work. A lot of songs here sound slightly derivative. There's clearly an attempt to capture some of that dance, punk, indie, electronica vibe like LCD Sound System. It lacks that DJ touch that really makes things pop. Now, I admire Harry for trying something a little different. I've always liked Harry's vocals and his general vibe. Yeah, he thinks he's cool, but to be fair, he kind of is. And I'm actually a fan of minimal electronic music, but the problem here, everything flows into each other a little too much. The pacing feels almost identical from track to track. It's almost meditative. While I was writing my notes, I didn't notice that Ready, Steady, Go had ended and You Are Listening had started. They just kind of melded into each other. That's how similar some of the tracks feel to me. And again, I'm not necessarily saying it's bad, it just feels like there's no variety, which is kind of frustrating because there are parts of the album I actually like. Take the opener Aperture, for example. It has this nice acid style bass line, pretty consistent percussion, Harry's vocals sit nicely on top. The house style keys are always welcome in my books, but that's kind of as interesting as it gets. There's a lot of repeated phrase choruses all over this album. You get things like, do you need a little love? Do you need a little love? Do you need a little love? You get my point. Holding out, holding, yeah. I'll stop. And I get that repetition is like a huge part of electronic music, but here it just feels a little lazy, perhaps. Another thing is this album really reminds me of that sort of indie electronic noughties sound. Bands like Bombay Bicycle Club, Hot Chip, Two Door Cinema Club, and so on. And you really hear that influence on the track American Girls. The rhythm, the arpeggiated bass and synth. And honestly, I'm alright with that. It's actually one of the songs I enjoyed more on the album. There are a few other tracks that I enjoyed, Taste Back and Pop, for example. They have some genuinely nice melodies. And the synths on Pop have this very 80s feel, which I think complement Harry's vocals here. But again, I'm still waiting for that disco I've been hearing so much about. There are moments where it almost appears, it pops its little head out. Dance No More, for example, kind of hints at it, but it never really goes all the way. And I wish it did. If Harry really wanted to traverse that electronic route, I just wish he went all in. Make it heavy. Maybe change producers, bring someone in who really understands club dance music. There are some interesting concepts like Pop or Weight Loss Season 2 Weight Loss? Season 2 Weight Loss? What is it? Season 2 Weight Loss, especially having a bit of an uncle feel about it, to me anyway, except it lacks a bit of edge. Overall, the album feels like dystopian lift music. If this was playing in the background, I wouldn't have a problem with it. In fact, I'd probably enjoy it. But I'm definitely not walking into a party being like, yeah, put some Harry Styles on right now. Like, come on, what is this album, honestly? Did he run out of money? There's also a couple of songs on here that don't really fit the overall vibe of the album. Coming Up Roses trades that 4 to the floor for some strings. It's a pretty song, but it is kind of slow and a little bit mundane. And the same could be said for Paint by Numbers. Now, I will admit I do quite like the lyrics on Paint by Numbers. Simple but effective. And honestly, that goes for a lot of the writing on the album. It's not bad, you know. Some places could be better, maybe. As the album closes with Carla's song, they end exactly as you might expect. Pleasant, but a little bit bland. And that's the frustrating thing here. Because I know Harry Styles can make good music, so why doesn't he? Maybe the album is missing that extra push. That spark that turns something decent into something memorable. Maybe it's comfort. Maybe when you've been in that spotlight for so long, that hunger and drive to create something great just kind of diminishes and you don't really care anymore. Either way, the record isn't terrible. It's just fine. There are some enjoyable moments, some good melodies, flashes of interesting ideas here and there, but overall it just feels way too safe and kind of not what I was expecting. So yes, with all that, I think I would give this album a 5.5 out of 10. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed the album, what you thought down below. And if you like this video, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, whatever you like. And hopefully catch you on the next one.